All right, well, welcome back, everybody, and we're excited to be back. That's for sure.
Oh, I'm telling you, Chuck, it's been a while, man. This COVID, I'm COVIDed out, but hey, we're all in this together. We're masked up. Hey, go check out the store, man. The masks are awesome.
Yeah, and sorry for the delay, but as you guys probably saw in the news, Washington State imposed some restrictions for businesses and whatnot, and only a certain number of people can get in and out of studios and all those things. So we're taking some precautions so we can keep this thing going. So sorry if we got a little bit of audio muffledness, but we're doing our best here.
Hey, we're gonna lead by example. We're all in this together. We want to get back to the conferences and all the good stuff, and whatever it takes to get this back to you guys and get us all back together and doing this.
Yeah, that should be our theme song, Staying Alive.
Right?
Another 70s hit.
Yeah, it's just going to say, back to the 70s.
Anyway, so hopefully you guys have been staying safe out there, and thanks for joining us and hanging out with us.
Definitely.
So tonight we got a couple of new upgrades here in the studio, and thanks for all the artists that have written in that want to help the studio get built out, and thank you so much for sending us stuff. Pretty exciting here on the table. We got rid of some of the lonely monkeys. My Chinese by the way, my Chinese astrology sign is the monkey, and it's the lonely monkey for the year I was born in. And so if you guys have ever seen the older episodes, I had some monkeys on the table. So that was my whole connection with the monkeys on the table. If you were wondering, it had nothing to do with Sasquatch, really.
I've never looked into really mine myself, but I'm pretty sure if I had to take a guess, it'd be a jackass. So.
Yeah, but I'm an Aquarius, and but anyways, the artist that sent these in, Jason Shaman Art, out on Etsy, and thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and I'll put the link down below so you guys can check them out. But these are some cool bronze statues.
Hey, these things are top-notch quality, man, and don't think these are just little plastic things sitting here. I mean,
hold that one up. Hold that one up. Check out this head. It's like a little bust.
These things. These things got some tonnage to them, man. They're beautiful. The detail, these are awesome. These are very awesome.
Yeah, so really cool hookup in the studio, and I've got the.
I'm gonna have to hit up Etsy myself because
and he's got
need one of these at home.
He does have them like a single, and then you can get them all in a group as well. But anyways, he hooked us up, and these things are really cool. And then there's a smaller one in the middle where I had my little samurai guy, but that's really cool. And then a bunch of artists with paintings wanted to send stuff in. And the studio is a lot bigger than it looks. Sometime we'll have to do a video where you guys can walk around, but we'd love to have more artwork in here. So if you have stuff, we'll definitely support it and tell everybody out there about it.
Yeah.
Where they can pick it up. So thank you guys so much.
Most definitely. I know I've reached out to a couple of you guys, man. I hope you send it in. I mean, we love it.
And if it's totally not perfect, we're okay with that too. Your imperfection is totally fine with us.
Yeah, art is subjective, man. We love it. I don't care. There's no such thing as bad art. Art is art.
And it's always cool to hear people say, we listen to the podcast while we're painting Sasquatch, or we're doing art, or we're watching your guys' YouTube video. I mean, it's so cool for us to get your feedback. So thanks so much for writing in and telling us that stuff.
Definitely. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, we're really cool. So we're going to explore a mystery tonight, a little bit different than the Sasquatch, everything we've been doing, and we'll get back to it. But there's some correlation here. No pun intended. But we're going to talk about Coral Castle in Rockgate Park down in Florida tonight.
I see what you did there, Chuck. That was awesome. Yes, definitely. It's one heck of a mystery. I know it's been a mystery for me for a long time, and you brought this up, and I was like, man, yeah, let's do this one. It's I don't know if we're going to unpack it, but we're going to try.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. Now, so just, as the story goes, back in the 1800s, a gentleman, Ed Leedskalnin, barely over, 5 foot tall.
5 foot at best, 100 pounds.
Yeah, he's a mason worker.
Yeah.
Engaged, came over to the U.S., and I guess they broke off their engagement. And his girlfriend was named Agnes, and he came over super depressed.
Yeah, she broke it off with him, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it killed him.
Yeah, literally, not the tuberculosis.
Well, yeah.
But he had tuberculosis, and so he moved down to Florida to try to help, I guess. And they used magnets back then, all kinds of techniques to help.
Yeah, they were doing all kinds of stuff. But you got to try it all. Throw enough stuff at the wall, something will stick eventually.
Every time I think of tuberculosis, I always think of Doc Holliday. But anyways, that's a whole different episode.
Yeah.
But anyways, he moved down there, and he built this castle out of coral. It's not just a castle, it's a whole park.
Yeah.
14-ton stone, started in Florida City, and built it, and then decided he wanted to move somewhere else, and moved it down to Homestead, Florida. And I did that Pine Island Ridge podcast, and it was kind of funny. They were talking about a UFO alien connection and ley lines. And
Yeah.
come to find out, this Homestead, Florida, apparently where he moved it,
Lands on a ley line.
huge ley lines, I guess. Yeah, with this huge magnetic energy field and all these things. But anyways, he always said he knew the secret to the pyramids, and he could make rocks weightless.
Isn't that something? And he did something. This is a guy that, as the story goes, 5 foot tall, 100-pound man. I mean, quarried these things, shaped them, moved them, stacked them, all under the cover of darkness even.
Yeah, and the big mystery to me is when he moved it.
Yeah.
I mean, so he had some guy pull up in a flatbed truck.
Yeah, one guy with a big flatbed truck, and he demanded that he park the truck and leave. And he said, be back in 45 minutes. He'd come back, and there'd be multi-tons of stones stacked on this thing from just this one guy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of really one of the only, that and a couple of kids that claim to have seen him moving some stuff. But that's really, if I'm not mistaken, one of the only people outside of that has any story to really talk about this guy.
I mean, they can talk about Polies all day and how he built the park, and maybe he didn't know the secret. I mean, there's all these theories. All I'm going to say is, how did he load the truck in 45 minutes?
That's what I'm saying. There's the mystery.
I mean, these are 14-ton stones. He's a little dude, and he's going to load it up with multiple stones.
Yeah, there's no mystery that he did it. He did it. It's there. You can go to it. You can sit on it. It's all there. But the mystery is there's no witness. There's
right.
I mean, his secrecy and his hermitness or whatever. I mean,
he was a hermit. Yeah, he was. And
an introvert.
Yes, I got the opportunity to go down to Homestead and check it out. I was definitely going to go, right? I mean, and you guys should too. If you guys get down to Florida, down in the Miami region, drive up to Homestead, go check this place out.
No, it's definitely on my list.
It's in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of a neighborhood, to be quite honest. But you get there and it's got this huge gate, this 30-ton gate that he put on a Ford axle Model T or something back in the day.
Yeah, like a New York revolving door in a hotel.
And back in the day, he'd charge admission. You could come in and push the thing with one finger, and it was totally perfect. It'd seal within millimeters and everything. And
isn't that something?
Yeah, and the thing broke later on, and they were like, well, geez, we should fix it after he died, and brought it into Florida University and spent millions of dollars in cranes and fixed the thing, and they didn't even get it right. They had to shave half the door down.
Isn't that something? This little guy did all this with just junkyard parts, and then millions of dollars, universities, scholars, professors, engineers. Well, how do we fix it? Shave the door.
Yeah, so it started working again for a while. I can't remember how many years, but then it broke again, and they were like, we're not fixing this thing again.
Yeah, I think
it was too big of a headache. Yeah.
Some of it was the acidic weather and the iron, and it's just kind of wears after time. But
so when you go there, it's going to be, open.
Yeah.
But it's still really cool. I mean, but there's so many things he built. He built an awesome sundial.
Yes, and that thing's fascinating. That's what is it, 9 to 4?
9 to 4
that it covers, and it's got
open hours. Yeah.
I'll call it like affinity marks. I'm sure there's a name for it that just kind of
Amanelli or Amelie or I don't know, some crazy name.
Yeah, kind of maps everything out, and you can pretty much set your watch by this thing. I guess it's pretty accurate and true to the minute.
Yeah, and he wanted to keep track of the month, days, weeks, minute, and he wanted to up his game on the sundial, and he did it.
Yeah, he figured it out.
Yeah, it's really cool. He's got a huge monolith with a kind of a triangulation, like a scope, right, for the summer solstice and things that hit dead on, and where the sun rises and where it sets. And
one of the fascinating things for me is, I mean, this guy wasn't going out buying special equipment and all this. He pretty much junkyarded all his stuff. I mean, like you said, axles, just car batteries, wires. I mean, he was tooling his own tools. And that fascinates me. He wasn't out buying. He didn't have any special equipment. He didn't have, diamond tip stones and that. He was figuring something out that he just didn't give us the secret to,
Yeah, and he said he knew the secret of the universe, and he knew how to make stones be weightless, right? He knew the secret of the pyramids, you said, right? I mean, that's, and he always said that. But he if you walk around the park, and I put some pictures out on All Access, so you guys can check it out, but he built all kinds of things. I mean, he built, my favorite one is he built this conference room table and a podium. He invited the governor and everybody to come down. He was going to tell them the secrets of the universe and the secrets of the pyramid, and they no-showed him.
I'm telling you. We got some bad governors today, but that one's the worst because I'd have loved to have known that secret. You should have showed up, buddy.
Yeah, and he built some chairs and loungers. I mean, he built some really cool things that him and Agnes were going to sit on and things. And I got a picture of me like sitting in one of the chairs. But there's this one that's really cool. It's actually above the sundial, and only he and what was the artist's name?
Billy Idol.
Yeah, only he and Billy Idol ever sat in that chair. And apparently that was a big thing.
The Sweet 16 video.
Yeah, which is his Sweet 16, Agnes, right?
Kind of played off his theme there.
So did Billy write the song for the...
Yes, that was the inspiration.
Really?
Yes.
No kidding. Yeah, I didn't even pick up the story until later on in life.
Right?
I didn't know. I just listened to the song.
Our heads were in a different place when Billy Idol was doing his thing. Right?
Yeah. But, you walk around, you see where he quarried it, and he pulled it out of the ground, and he's going to lift these things up. He's going to move them to the park. And when you guys go there, you'll be like, he did this by himself?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just fascinated.
He had 20 years, granted. But.
Well, sure. Yeah, he had time, but still, one guy by himself with just junkyard tools and making his own tools. And
the ambition.
Right? I mean, that's the mystery. And again, there's a couple of kids that have a story, and there's a dude that drove a flatbed truck. Outside of that, there's nothing. He told nobody nothing. There's nothing to research. Nobody has any information. He kept it all in his head. I would just love that's one of the big mysteries for me is his mind thought. What did that? How does his brain work? What that cathedral in his head? I mean, that's where I want to go. I can see what he did, and it's fascinating and right on. I could probably do it myself, given maybe 50 years, but
right.
But what was his train of thought? What did he figure out? I mean, because we know in history there's people that just figure stuff out that just me and you, average Joe, just don't get. But this guy had something. This guy did something.
Yeah, and Holmes said it does sit on the ley lines, and there was some theories about why he moved it there. Was it easier to move the stones and make them magnetic or weightless, and all these things? And we're going to take a break, but when we get back, we're going to talk about some of his pamphlets, some of the materials he left behind, and something called the magnetic flywheel as well. I think that's pretty kind of an interesting invention he left us behind as well.
Fascinating.
All right, welcome to Mystery Sasquatch Syndicate Theater. This is in the middle of Homestead, Florida. I mean, you literally pull into a neighborhood, and it says, you will be seeing an unusual accomplishment, and it really is. And the fact that he moved this up here, it's going to be pretty interesting.
It is fascinating. I mean, I got to give him props. He was just a little man, and he did this all by himself.
And so when you walk in, the tour guides, too, when we were there, they were saying, it's really not aliens. He really did this. And, don't believe this or that. And, you kind of come up in the guy's apartment, and you'll see all of his old tools and his working area and the tools that he used. And some of them were old, like springs off cars.
Yeah, he made his own tools to make his own tools.
But, a lot of it, the way he laid it out, I mean, if he was working by himself, and granted he had a lot of time, but, it's a pretty extensive park, and there's a lot there. And, there's that sundial I was telling you about, and there's the, of course, the spinning gate.
Yeah.
And, but, it's significant. I mean, they're definitely heavy, and for one guy, 4'11" to lift this stuff around, for the average person, I mean, you'd really say, well, geez, maybe they did have help.
Then he claimed he had the secrets to building the pyramid.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew something. I mean, there it is. He did it. And it's there to see.
There's that 9-ton gate. And it's just...
it's amazing.
Like I said, we talked about it. They tore it down and brought it back. University of Florida went up there, said, we're never going to fix this thing again, ever.
No.
It's too much work and too much money. But the fact that he had it working for so long, you could just push it with one finger.
Yeah. Using an old axle off a truck just to spin it on. He's ingenious. If not, the guy's good at what he's doing. Some people are just good at what they do.
Look at the old car parts he used, to hoist water in his well. And he used stuff he had back then.
Yeah.
They've added to it, of course. You see the walkways and other stuff. But
sure.
You go in these heavy tools, man. There wasn't much there. And, the flywheel, I believe it's, there's components of it. And there's videos where they show, like, a little black box on top of the tripod. Don't see that. And, all the things. And
Sure. I mean, it's impressive. I mean, that's again, he was just a small man of stature. He wasn't like he was a big dude.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's pretty impressive, and I definitely recommend people go check it out. Anyway, so back to Ed. Back to
Ed, little man Ed.
Coral Castle, Rockgate Park.
Little man, big stones.
Yeah, so that dude somehow moved hundreds. I've been there. Of, I'll call them 3 to 4 tons more. They said the average is 14 tons, 12 tons, something like that. But there's a ton of stone he moved.
It's amazing.
You know what I mean? And so he left behind some pamphlets.
Yeah, he did.
One was called The Magnetic Current, I think. And he talks about polarity and the poles and, how, the secret of the universe is the secret of magnets, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. I mean, there's so many uses for magnets we're discovering, magnetic trains. Imaging. I mean, you name it. There's just something to it.
Scientists today still don't understand. We know how gravity works. We know how magnetism works, but they still don't understand why and what and how. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
We can understand the physics of how it works. We just don't know why it's there and how it's there. But I think this guy I think he touched on it. I think he kind of figured it out. And it may have been just really obvious for him, kind of an Einstein thing.
Yeah.
Einstein everything was in his brain, couldn't convey it to people, so he invented his own math equations and whatnot to get it across to people. You know what I mean? And you have to do what you got to do. This guy, unfortunately, kind of held it back a bit.
Yeah, the polarization. You guys have all touched magnets together, reverse polarity. That's a cool feeling, right? When it's pushing against each other and it's
you can't
resisting,
see it, but there it is,
it's
and you
resisting.
can feel it.
So it's there.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's really cool. And then, they show a tripod in a lot of the videos where Ed was hoisting stuff, and you can do a lot of stuff with pulleys and chains, and definitely, you definitely would use something like that if you were alone.
No,
but there was some pieces missing potentially.
Well, and I looked at what he had set up. So the rare few pictures he had. And they were pine poles. Pine, that's not the strongest wood. And you're lifting, average of 14 tons? And he had some pulleys. So my mind's even still blown there. I mean, you'd think you'd be wanting some oak or some serious timber, but pine poles and pulleys. And like you said, he had...
There was a black box on top of these tripods. And the other thing is, when you look at the tripods, you see pulleys and chains, but you also see these massive wires, like it was going to carry electricity up to this thing.
Yeah.
And if you were going to push out electricity, into these rocks... and get them, weightless somehow.
Yeah, was he
petrified? He basically petrified the stones for whatever time amount he moved them, and then they somehow got reset. I don't,
figured out a vibration and energy. He figured something out. The guy obviously figured something out. He figured something out.
What's also interesting is he has an invention. It's called the flywheel, magnetic flywheel. And there's actually guys out on YouTube and gals that they're showing how, they're trying to debunk it, right? How do you do it with pulleys? You move this huge thing, and there's guys doing in that. But a lot of people, they like to build this thing called the flywheel, and it's got it's a spinning wheel. It's somewhat perpetual. Once you get the current on it, right? The magnets are following each other north and south, and you get the thing spinning. It produces some type of energy.
Kind of reminds me of like an alternator on a car. Is kind of what it reminds me of. Kind of a negative positive polarity, and it spins. And I know a lot of this stuff, when this all went away, a lot of stuff was pilfered out of there, and again, he took all the secrets. I think there was more to it. I mean, I have my own theories. I think centrifugal force, I think there was more than just what people are doing. I think there was more to it. Like if you've ever gotten a bicycle wheel and spun it and then try and turn it, you can feel that force, that it doesn't want to go where you want it to go. It wants to stay on its axis.
And once you spin it, though, and you move it, you can feel it, right? Like almost like a gyroscope.
And it goes from serious resistance to just easy, and you can just balance it on a finger. But you try and tilt it, off it goes. I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, I think this guy, his brain was in tune with this. That's my theory.
Yeah, but build out old car parts, and then you're going to get magnets, and you're going to find these magnets in the 1920s. Yeah. I mean, just the fact that he has the magnets.
Yeah. He's a lot of
were they
batteries.
just come and you order them on Amazon? No.
Right?
You're in frickin' Homestead, Florida, 1920.
Like I say.
And you need a bunch of magnets. I mean, do you use brake shoes? You know what I mean? Like, what kind?
That's what I'm saying.
Where does he come up with this stuff?
He junkyarded everything. I mean, he just happenstance just kind of just put together, I know he used car batteries, the wires. I mean, he just...
Right.
But no specialty tools. He didn't go order anything. There was nothing special in anything that he had or had left behind.
Oh, no.
It was all junkyard scraps. I mean,
even the pieces he used to cut the rocks out were like old car leaf springs and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just silliness.
Right?
You know what I mean?
It's amazing. It's
suspension
absolutely
parts,
amazing.
right? But we're going to sharpen them and we're going to use them to cut coral.
That's fascinating. Just fascinating.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that drive. I love it, man. I'd love to have met this man.
Yeah, it's really cool. And you walk around the park and, you get back and he's actually got an apartment he built. It's like a 2-story apartment, believe it or not. He built that thing out of coral. He's got a hammock laying in there. And again, you can check it out on All Access. I took tons of pics and vids. But it's crazy. I mean, and to think that he slept in there, you know what I mean? Like on the hammock. And what did he charge for admission?
10 cents. I think it was a dime to check out the park.
Yeah.
10 cents.
And he was small, so he didn't need to eat much, probably.
Oh, there you go.
So he saved his money. I'm still like, where do you get magnets in the 20s?
Yeah, right.
During the Depression. I mean, this is during the Great Depression. He's building this thing. I mean, I think he died in 53 or something like that, right?
Magnets enough to hoist 14-ton stones. It's amazing. It's an absolute.
It is a mystery. It's a mystery.
It's an enigma.
And it's right here in North America. You guys got to go check it out. I mean, it's right there. Go explore it. They'll tell you did it with pulleys and chains and all this stuff. You go there and you'll see what I'm talking about.
It's a real mystery. I mean, a real legit 100% mystery. I mean, I don't know how better to explain that. I mean, it's got my gears in my brain turning like crazy just because there's no information, there's no documentation, there's no witness, there's no nothing. But there it is. He did it. It happened, and you can go touch it.
And the cool thing is he left us with the secrets of the universe.
He did.
And he left it in numbers, a little bit above his door, but he left it in a pamphlet. And, Dwayne and I, we did some research on it. We've totally figured it out.
We did. I got obsessed with it, and I got together with Chuck. Between my mind and Chuck's mind, I think we got it.
Yeah, so you guys let us know what you think. We're going to leave you guys with the secrets of the universe. We want to see your thoughts and comments in the spot below the video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for joining Sasquatch Syndicate, and believe.